Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 208 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Derrick, as per usual, live on the Area 51 Sports Network Twitter page and the Terminal City FC podcast official Twitter account. Rainy day here in Vancouver, rainy week, early morning. And hello to everyone who's listening on demand, wherever you get your podcast. So, obviously, no Whitecaps game this week or international break. Yeah, we have to wait a bit more before the big game against LAFC. Next week, we'll preview more of that game in depth, but we do have some bit of news coming out of Whitecaps training. No surprise, Tristan Blackman is back in training. He did not make the trip to Dallas, but obviously did not play. And just as great news, Brian White fully training with the team.
Yeah, we knew Blackman was going to be happening. He had actually been taken off the reported injury list for the last match, but they didn't really see the need to dress him, especially because they had that first game win already in the best of three series. Having Brian White back is really, really nice to see. Obviously, have no idea how many minutes he's going to be good for on the 22nd. We still are, 10 days away from that. But you got to hope that he can at least give you 45.
Yeah.
Other than that, Tate Johnson,
even if he doesn't start,
maybe
at least a half.
Yeah, Tate Johnson, who took a pretty bad fall
on his
shoulder, he's back in training. Seems like he's no worse for wear, but it is something that with the shoulder, apparently it's something they've been monitoring for a while. It wasn't just that game.
Yeah, he's back in training, which is good. Daniel Rios, who got hurt in Game 2 against Dallas, he's on the bike. We'll see. It's a calf injury, apparently, and given that he's on the bike, maybe at least a week or two away.
Yeah. Last Friday, MLS Commissioner Don Garber was in town, and Josh, you had a chance to go and have a chat with him.
Yeah, he met with many members of local sports and not sports media at the Talos Garden in downtown. I was there, got to shake his hand. So Garber obviously talked about the big issue regarding the Whitecaps off the pitch, the stadium, and he said BC Place's lease is up and there's a lease plan, but it's not what he agrees with, and they need a better lease because this is the short-term solution until the Whitecaps get that soccer-specific stadium done. Now you might be wondering, any updates on that? He said, well, P&E site is still the plan, but there are other sites they've been looking at just in case. But there's no deadline or timeline as of now. So if we're expecting him to say, "Oh, we have 5 or nothing" at that moment.
When it comes to a new stadium, I mean, these things take years. I mean, forget just the construction of it, the actual planning, and all that takes just as long as building the thing usually. I'm not expecting anything happening in the next, you know what, if they come up with a site, blueprints and a plan in the next 2 years, I'll be ecstatic. Let's put it that way. And kind of stepping into the commissioner's shoes a little bit, I can understand wanting to kind of light a fire underneath the ass of a few people of trying to get things moving on. So I do take his language with a bit of a grain of salt, right? I think these things are moving. I think they're moving at a snail's pace, and I can understand him wanting to put a little bit of fear in people to see if that might move things along a little bit quicker. So some of the more sensationalist things that have been coming out about this, saying, "Oh, the team could still be moving" and all that stuff, and what we've been seeing, I'm more like, okay, Garber, thank you. Get on your plane.
Yeah, he said it's possible that the Whitecaps could still move, but they do not. Nobody wants to go down that route. Let's be honest here. Everyone I've talked to surrounding the Whitecaps does not want the team to move. Plain and simple. Nobody does.
When you take a look, I mean, yes, and I had the chance to talk to Axel about the stadium deal and kind of what they're getting with BC Place. And yes, the deal they have with BC Place does not benefit the Whitecaps. Where you look at basically any other club in MLS, they get either a percentage or they get all of concession. They get
20%.
Sorry,
something like that.
Yeah, Whitecaps get nothing.
Yeah,
right. They get nothing. So they're a top 10 team in the league for attendance. They're a bottom 10 team in terms of what they actually get in terms of revenue from their stadium deal. So it makes sense for them to have their own stadium. It just does. Not only that, but if you have your own stadium, you can now give also a secondary home to Vancouver Rise, which, Kerfoot, majority owner. It makes sense. But if you're going to be building that stadium, you take a look at the crowds the Whitecaps have been pulling in this season. You got to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to accommodate those crowds. Now, you're never going to accommodate 50,000. You're not going to build a stadium for 50,000. That's not going to happen. 30?
30 is probably what I
would say 30 with the ability to add on at a later date. That you're in an area, you're a footprint, and you have a foundation that allows for expansion. That'd be cool. But yeah, don't do one of these where you got stadiums that are 20,000. You're not serving yourself, or you're not serving your community.
Yeah, and Garber mentioned like other stadium planning: Chicago, Miami, New York. Those took over a decade. Like New York was a big debacle.
Well, think how long it took for them, because they're now building it in, I want to say, Flushing.
Yeah, Queens, next to Citi Field, I think.
Oh, Queens. That took, Flushing, just getting that took forever. And the different ideas they had. And think of Miami, how long it took them to get a stadium where they almost didn't even get a team.
Chicago, too. Like, you're bouncing all over the Chicago area, and now they're actually going to get a downtown soccer-specific stadium.
Absolutely. So this takes forever. So don't expect it to be something that's decided in this off season. It's not. My guess, it's not going to be decided next off season. We're going to have
my concern is the lease
in MLS before this happens.
Yeah, Garber said the lease is the big concern now, and it has to come on what the club agrees with, what he agrees with, and of course what the stadium agrees with, and they're all working hard behind the scenes for that. But he and pretty much another Whitecaps executive I talked to, that they still remain optimistic they will get things done. So make of that what you will.
The history, the working relationship has been there for 15 years now, 16 years. I think they'll get something done. The one thing that hurts the Whitecaps a little bit is that they're not the main tenant. Well, I mean, they share tenancy.
Share it with the Lions.
With the Lions. But BC Place in general is busy pretty much every day of the week with concerts,
trade shows,
all these other functions. I remember we had years ago, a couple years, I think it was like a year or two, kind of like after COVID, when BC Place did a change in the general managership that operates the building, and they talked about how they've been able to recover from COVID and how they were actually having double capacity in terms of the number of events that they were booking compared to pre-COVID. So that building is never not full. It does a lot of work.
Yep.
That does hurt, I think, the Whitecaps' bargaining power a little bit, because they're just one of many. If they left, it would hurt them, but they would fill it.
Yeah, it would hurt not just BC Place, the city, the local community.
I mean, my wife's business even had their Christmas party at BC Place once.
Really?
Yeah, like they rented out for that.
Wow, a Christmas party.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Like
it's a law
in
firm,
the bubbles right? there or something?
No, like right down on the pitch.
Huh?
Just set up tables and yeah.
I didn't even know Christmas parties from local businesses or whatever would
It
be
was the
allowed in
only
there.
time it had ever happened. I can't see it happening anymore because they said it felt kind of weird. It's not like you're in a ballroom or a conference room where it can be a little bit more intimate. In that, it just felt like you're in a bomb shelter.
Yeah. So um, it's the lease again is the big concern I have. Anyone has like, are they going to come to a good agreeable lease within the next month and a half because it's up at the end of this year? And Soccer Pacific Stadium, it seems like things are moving. And Garber didn't go into detail when it comes to potential investors. He just said he's met with a bunch of people from all
Okay.
over.
Well,
So same with
I
the
get,
Whitecaps ownership
yeah,
too.
everything's kind of a holding pattern when it comes to that. The main thing I take from this is the rhetoric at the beginning of the season of the club is for sale. My general thought is that is now the last case scenario.
Yeah, remember Patrick Johnson reported, like Jeff, he even spoke to Jeff Mallett that they kind of changed their tune in regards to sale. It's more like we want like partners now.
Yeah.
We'll take a step back, but we'll still
Now,
be around.
I still have questions over the original, the whole original intent of the sale, because we were told it was for estate planning, right? Like that, their respective children don't want to take this over when they eventually decide to go up and leave. Well, I can't imagine that suddenly changed. So I do wonder if this is something that we're just kind of pushing down the line, and eventually we're going to have to take a look at a sale of some sort. My hope is that that basically what this does is gives them more time to find someone. Like I do wonder about that. I'm also still generally curious that Goldman Sachs, who the Whitecaps had brought in to manage the sale, I do wonder who are the parties that had applied. Just
Yeah, I
for
mean,
my general curiosity, because it was out there for what, half a year before things started to change.
yeah. So after months of radio silence regarding that, like Garber and he pretty much gave updates regarding the sale and a new stadium. So I don't know if it's much. I don't think it's much at all, but the main takeaway is there's some concerns regarding the lease, but everybody is optimistic that things will go according to plan.
Hurry up and
Cautiously
wait.
optimistic though.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. So speaking of executives and changes and all that, around the league, Garber did speak about this a little bit too. But it's been reported the MLS board of governors meeting is proposed to vote a switching the calendar
Yeah.
from the current format to like the European format, which has been reported for months now, to
So
no
the
one's
thing is
surprise.
this vote is happening today in Florida.
Yep.
So they're already meeting right now. So there is an expectation. It seems like the majority of the league owners do want to move this way. So what it would do, and the reason why they need to do it now is because they want to have the changes done in time for the 2027 season.
Yep.
Doesn't give them a lot of time in terms of logistics to make that happen and make it work. And really, you don't have a lot of examples of where this has happened before. Russia has done it before. That's the one example I can think of, but that's well over a decade ago now. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because this is not going to satisfy everyone. Basically, what it would mean is you would have a season that would run July to April with playoffs in May.
Yeah.
Now, there's benefits to this. One, you're not dealing with international calendars anymore in the middle of your playoffs, because you're now in tune with the majority of the rest of the world. All your important games are happening when other leagues are having their important games. You don't have to worry about the international calendar. Two, it puts you in tune with the transfer window. So now when you are looking for free transfers like everyone else, or transfers of players, you're not doing it in the middle of your season. It's just much easier because it is aligned when you're working with leagues all over the world. Those are good things. The bad thing is they built into this is the fact that you would have to take a break in December and January, which is kind of what we do already in the fact that your MLS playoffs right now, first week of December, January, you're basically doing training camps, which you would be doing anyway in this situation because you want to get your players back to match fitness. Having that much of a break in the middle of your season, you look at other leagues that have breaks, they're not 2 months long. But what do you do when you've got, two teams in Eastern Canada that are outdoor stadiums? You've got a whole host of stadiums throughout the United States that are outdoor. I mean, take a look at the game that they had to play, not even in the Eastern Seaboard, but in Kansas City last year that was under freezing temperatures and snow. So this isn't just an isolated event in the North. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah. Well, some stadiums have it better than the others, like Vancouver, obviously. That's one benefit of...
Yeah, having an indoor stadium does definitely benefit them. They don't have to worry about it. And let's be honest, this would actually benefit other areas. Texas, not having to play in the Texas heat. California, Florida, same thing, right?
Yeah, but there's rain, but it's rain.
I'm torn on this one. I'm torn.
Me too, I'm very torn.
I understand the logistics. Logistics in terms of aligning yourself to other leagues makes a whole lot of sense. Does it make sense with the environment that we play in? And I don't know. You're going to see a lot more games like the CPL final, or
more on that later. Yeah,
games canceled, and then they have to just end up finding space for it further down the table, and you're going to see a lot more midweek games towards the end of the season.
That's the thing I'm worried about, like weather conditions in certain parts of Canada and the United States.
You're going to have to change your stadium minimums. Stadiums are going to have under soil heating.
Yep.
Right? Because in order to try and get rid of that snow as much as possible, you're going to have more accommodation for fans that are going to be sitting in these things. And you're also going to have to educate fans. Because the other thing that would really, really hurt this is just the general sports landscape of Canada and the United States, in that you would be transferring the MLS to a calendar that is pretty much most other sports in our two countries, other than what, baseball?
Yeah, you're going to be competing with the NHL.
It's the NBA schedule,
the NFL.
And
college football.
One of the things they're looking at with the NFL is when they come back from a February break, they don't want to, or from a winter break, they don't want to, do it, and all of a sudden Super Bowl's happening, so it screws them over there, right? So there are a lot of things to take into account, and I think that's one of the reasons why they said they need to get a vote today if they want to make this change in 2027, because it's going to take them that much time just to figure it out.
Yeah, which makes a whole lot of sense. Like, the Whitecaps competing with the Canucks in the middle of January, December.
Can you imagine both those teams making the playoffs?
Well, yeah. Even if the Canucks are as mediocre as they are, they're still number one in this market. So it's going to be a challenge for the Whitecaps. Same with Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very difficult. The other vote that they're holding, that's a big one, is getting away from the conference system that the MLS is based off right now, where you have an East Conference and a West Conference.
Western Conference.
Basically moving to a single table format, all teams in the same table for deciding playoffs, but moving to 5 divisions geographically spaced throughout Canada and the United States. So basically what would happen is you would play each team within your division, home and away. You would play all other teams once. Similar to, say, other sports that do this, where you play most of your games within your division, the whole idea of forming divisional rivalries and all this stuff. And the whole idea is that if you finished, now winning your division would mean nothing, other than they're saying one of the proposals is that if you win your division, you would automatically get a playoff spot regardless of where you finish in the single table. Now, if you win your division, chances are you're high up in the single table anyway. It's never going to be a problem. but that's one of the
Right.
things they're proposing. So here's why that's good. Single table makes it easy to follow. You don't have to
Supporter
worry.
shield is more meaningful when it's a single table.
The supporter shield is more meaningful. Also, what this does is you are now guaranteed to at least get one game with every single club in MLS every season. And that's been one of always the biggest contentious points of MLS is that you can go years without facing a team in the East if you're from the West, or from the West if you're from the East. Think of the Whitecaps and Inter Miami. Inter Miami's been around a few years. In MLS regular season, they faced each other once. Once. That's it. They faced each other in other competitions, but not MLS regular season.
Whitecaps Philadelphia faced each other for the first time in years this year.
The idea is that it creates a little bit more fairness within your league. If
you're all competing,
if you're all competing for the same title, the same trophy, in this case, Supporter Shield, you should actually be competing against one another. You can't go for the same trophy, but you've never played the same teams, right? It's not a perfect system. In a perfect system, you would be doing home and away for all teams. But when you have as many teams as you have in the MLS, that's just not possible.
Yeah, and another thing with playoffs, teams from the East and West could meet in like the first and second round. So you could have Vancouver or New York.
Absolutely, because it would all be based off a single table. Now, the one thing is they talk about the playoffs happening in May. So they are looking at alternative playoff formats as well, but nothing's really been publicized yet. And there doesn't seem to be much of a consensus on playoff format right now. So
I think that's in the early stages.
It's in the early stages. My hope is one thing that they do is if they move to a single table format, 60% of your teams should not qualify for the playoffs. That is way too many teams qualifying for a playoffs. Right now,
50.
Now, 9 teams from each side qualify. That's 60% of your teams in the league. I honestly, you say 50%, I say 30, 40.
30, 40, even better.
Right?
45.
You should not have a losing record in regular season and be able to make the playoffs. That shouldn't happen.
It just makes the regular season less meaningful.
It does. It does.
Yeah, like team could just.
Also, I mean, if you're going to have the playoffs, it should be one of those things that you are able to quickly take care of. If you can handle it all in 1 month, great. The fact that they want to go 1 month makes me think that they're still thinking single round knockoff games. I would rather it be home and away, but
home and away 2 legs for
that's fine.
Round.
I mean, other leagues that have playoff formats in tournament forms do that as well. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where this all goes. Whitecaps would be in I don't know, let's call it the Pacific Division, with Seattle, Portland, and all the California teams.
You got to think that it's going to be aligned based off kind of north-south geography. They're not going to put Canada as one thing and loop us in with teams that are 4,000 kilometers away east.
Yeah, could you imagine a team 4,000 kilometers away for a playoff game?
Stranger things have happened. Seattle, Toronto, right?
Yeah, Vancouver, Toronto. That would be great for Canadian broadcasters.
And much to the destruction of hopes of MLS in general.
It's it's interesting because I just don't like how a team can have a mediocre record, sneak into the play-in, and then play in the first round, potentially go on a run. I mean, sure, it's good for underdog stories, but it just makes the regular season less meaningful. And I like the idea of divisions because it can create more rivalry in the single table as well.
If you take a look at it, in the Eastern Conference this season, Orlando finished 9th, and they did finish with a winning record, to be fair. In the Western Conference, Real Salt Lake finished in 9th, 17 losses. 17 losses of 34 games. I mean, they had a losing record. The team in 8th, Portland, 11-11-12, 12 losses.
Mid-record,
I mean, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? This is why I say take the top 4 on each side. Honestly, I would do that.
Top 4, top 6. Yeah, before they used to do just top 6 when there were less teams.
I think they need to come up with a format that does that. It also makes the playoffs more meaningful. That's
Yeah, and
me.
the best of three just doesn't. It just makes things a whole lot. I mean, some players like it. Like we talked to players from the Whitecaps, they like it. But
Some do. Some do. The one
uh,
thing is if you're going to do a format, don't change your format in the middle of your playoffs. If you're going to do a best of three, do best of three all the way through. Don't go best of three and then all of a sudden single round knockoff, right? Your playoffs are not balanced.
yeah, like single game knockout all the way, like when they used to do,
Pick
made
one or
things
the
more
other.
meaningful.
Pick one or the other.
Or back in the day, like the first two rounds or something would be two legs, and the rest
Yeah.
knockout. But the two legs weren't spread out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the one
They were
thing
like
that
days
is
within each
if
other.
you can get rid of it so that you don't have to worry about this international break, because the fact that you have multiple teams waiting 3 weeks in a postseason before they're playing the
Yeah,
next game
that's the
is
thing.
pretty ludicrous.
Yeah, like we have to wait another week until the Whitecaps play a huge playoff
10 days. It's
game.
still 10 days away,
Yeah.
right?
At
So
least people it gives the club time to prepare and stuff, but still.
it does.
So
It
we'll see
does.
where this goes on the
Now, the
votes.
one thing
But
we do
the rest
have
of
is we actually know who is going to be in the next round. Before we only knew one of the lineups, but we have the whole answer. I mean, that's one thing we got.
yeah, round one is wrapped up. Minnesota and Seattle played arguably the MLS game year. Minnesota down to 10.
Minnesota was down to 10. Ended up coming back, and I think it was won in absolute penalty thriller. Which was taken off.
I can't remember how many rounds it was. Like 8, 9 rounds?
7, I think. I think it was 7. And ended up, Cincinnati Columbus.
Yeah,
Cincinnati
the Seattle's backup goalie skied his penalty.
Yeah. Cincinnati Columbus. Cincinnati ends up taking out Columbus.
Yeah,
which
Cincinnati
was one of the favorites, given what they've been able to do under Wilfred Nancy. Does leave questions for what's going to happen with Nancy, something that we had talked about before. Inter Miami made short work of Nashville 4-0. Obviously, Lionel Messi did what Lionel Messi does, had a brace in the first half to send them on their way. Allende got another 2 later on in the game. And finally, the last match was Colorado and LAFC. This one ended up no, that's not right.
NYC in Charlotte.
Thank you.
Got the wrong conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, New York 1-3-1. New York is very good at the transition. And I believe Alonso Martinez had a brace. And New York, I feel like they're the dark horse team this year. And
they're the dark horse in the East.
They're a team people aren't expecting, but yeah, they could potentially go on a run, make it to the final. Yep. Yeah, good games in the first round. Some blowouts, thriller in Minnesota. Dane St. Clair coming up big in the shootout for Minnesota. Some Seattle penalties were so terrible. And Reagan hitting the post.
Horrible penalties.
To win it. Again, stutter step, too, and the little jump. We hate it, so
just
Seattle did.
Pick a corner and blast it.
Yeah.
Get it as far away from the goalkeeper as you can and make it hard enough that if the goalkeeper guesses the right direction, fingers on the ball aren't going to be enough. That's all you got to do. Just blast it into the back of the net.
Yep. And we got the second round set. San Diego will be hosting Minnesota. Obviously, Vancouver, LAFC. We'll preview these games more next week.
Yeah.
In the East, New York will go to Philadelphia. So we got New York, Philly. And Cincinnati will host Miami.
We'll talk about it next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll preview more of these games in depth next week. So the second round is set after a pretty entertaining first round for the most part.
Absolutely.
So we got a Vancouver team in a final. The Vancouver Rise are in the NSL final. Will play for the Diana B. Matheson Cup, where they will take on AFC Toronto in Toronto at BMO Field. Vancouver, a hard-fought game, a very intense game, a good game to watch against Ottawa Rapid. Holly Ward getting on the score sheet finally to tie the game, as she was all over the place
Late in
in
the
that
game,
game.
too, in the 85th minutes to force penalties.
Yeah, intense extra time too. Morgan McCaslin coming up big.
Yeah.
Yeah, fell behind in penalties after Pachursky missed on the right side, but McCaslin came up big when she needed to. Though the last two Ottawa penalties were the exact same shot right at McCaslin.
Yeah.
She saw that
Again,
all the way.
pick your corners. I don't know.
It wasn't. Those saves weren't difficult at all. Just
two poor ones. Two poor ones.
and then Sophia Hagman seals the deal with her penalty.
Crazy match, and that you think Rise had 30 shots in this match.
30. Yeah, which is
11 on target, but still, you don't see football matches like this. This was definitely a game that the Rise knew was going to be very, very difficult. You're coming into an energized Ottawa environment where it was basically a soccer weekend in Ottawa, and we'll talk about the CPL final later that happened the day later. But this was big for the Rise, and I think it's something that they really, really needed, because it allows them to slay some demons a little bit in AFC Toronto, because the last time Vancouver Rise and AFC Toronto met was that 7-0 just destruction
disaster
of Rise. Now, fair enough, they went down by a player in the first half.
Early in the game.
It happens, but it does give them an opportunity to kind of come back and set things right a little bit. I wrote a preview yesterday for the game that's coming up this Saturday. Check it out on Area 51 Sports Network if you get a chance. But let's talk about it a little bit right now, because the way NSL regular season is set up, you play each team 5 times. So the record between these two teams was quite similar. Both had 2 wins apiece, and the other one being a draw. If you take out that 7-0 anomaly, every other game was within a goal of each other.
Yeah, 2 very attack-minded teams, I'd say. Like Toronto has the edge in goals, but 2 teams that love to score.
What was it? Hayes, I want to say.
I know Kaylee Hunter, former Whitecaps.
That's it. Hunter is who I'm thinking of.
Academy product. Vancouver native.
Scoring
second goals behind Ottawa's DB Brittam, who did score in game 2, leg 2 rather, against the Rise. So he had to be her.
Yeah. And you also got Regan in the midfield for Toronto, who does a pretty good job at
Canadian international as well.
Running that base. One of the interesting things is this game for the final is going to be at BMO Field, the home of TFC from MLS. The Rise had played a couple of games there this season. They had their home opener there against Ottawa, and then they played a game in August actually against the Rise at BMO Field. Toronto lost both of those games.
Yep.
So,
and the Rise played well there.
Yeah, we're heading into a pitch that the Rise have been there before, and they've done the job there before. It's not going to be easy. You're basically within the same backyard as your home stadium and York Lions. All your fans are going to be from Toronto. It's going to be an enemy crowd. And you're going to have to deal with all of that. But I think knowing that you've done the job before is going to be huge for their confidence.
Yeah. And knowing that they come off a very hard-fought 2-leg series against Ottawa, boost the confidence. Well, there's extra obviously, you don't need to be motivated. There's a cup on the line, championship on the line, but
I talked with Anya Heinemoller and Latifa Abdu yesterday, 2 days ago, I think it was, about the whole idea of motivation. Because you see a lot of teams, when they get to this, they're playing videos of past championships and what other teams have done and all the stories of getting this. That doesn't exist in MLS. This
doesn't exist because it's the first year.
Or in NSL. It's the first year. So the motivation right now is being first. Being the first, because nobody forgets the first. And there's huge motivation in that, right? Because whoever wins this trophy in, next year, the year after that, and the year after that, is going to be very big for those years. but nothing is going to take away from the fact that this team won it first. And
Yeah,
I
the
think
Rise
that is a very, very big thing that you can have as part of that history of and the culture of your club.
the Rise started this season. Remember, at BC Place against Calgary,
They did.
and they want to finish it with a win because they won that game against Calgary.
It'd be very nice bookends. We're not getting any information about injuries yet, so Cowart, we're not too sure. She did not play in the Ottawa game. Have to wait and see, because right now the one thing that the Rise are pretty bare in is in defense.
Yeah, the defense is like the main concern, but the big key is obviously the attack and how clinical it can be when it is working.
Yeah.
But I expect like this game to potentially be a high scoring one because both teams really know how to score.
I'm not too sure. I mean, it could very well be, but when I take away that 7-goal game, every other game has been really, really tight affairs. I think it's going to be a battle right to the very end. It's going to be within 1 goal of each other of whoever takes it.
I think it'll be a 1-goal game.
A 2-1 or a 3-2.
3-2. 3-2 is still a thriller in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right.
And of course, I think both goalkeepers have done well, but McCaslin obviously with more shots, higher save percentage, obviously Golden Glove.
Absolutely. That game will be this Saturday at 11 a.m. our time. I'm pretty sure it'll be on CBC. So you have.
I believe it'll be on TSN too, as well. Yeah. So a lot of ways to view it.
One day after the Rise,
you wouldn't believe it's the same weekend.
We had one of the best games you will ever see, and it happened to be a CPL final.
Yeah, same stadium, like 24 hours or so apart. You wouldn't believe it from the Rise game.
Yeah.
It had to be delayed because there was a major snowstorm in Ottawa, which I believe is still happening in the east around there. Atletico Ottawa Cavalry in the snow. The pitch had to be delayed. Game had to be delayed multiple times due to shoving the snow. The Ottawa, both goalkeepers even had to help out.
They were shoveling the lines in the first half every 15 minutes. And even then, that wasn't enough. The lines were being covered after about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and both, like, I don't know, like the snow derby or whatever you want to call it.
I don't even know if you can call it that. We've had too many of these in Canada over the years.
Yeah, but this was a major final, the snow final, whatever you want to call it. It's gone viral all over the world.
And it's gone viral for David Rodriguez.
David Rodriguez's bicycle kick. The icicle kick, they're calling it.
The icicle kick. This goal has been shown around the world multiple times, multiple comments on it. Oddly enough, the one place it hasn't really been shown, Canada.
Well, TSN's posted on their socials. I don't know about sports.
They posted it on their socials. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I mean TSN was showing the game. Even I Showed Speed has seen it.
I know. I saw that clip too. He was trying to figure out where is this? Why are they playing this game? It was kind of funny because a lot of the comments, especially out of Europe and out of England, are like, "Yeah, if this game would have been happening, this game would have been canceled outright. There's no way they would have played this game.
This game probably shouldn't have been played.
It's a final, and it's Canada, and it's just what they do." It was funny because Rodriguez was talking before the game, and he's from Mexico, so snow is not an everyday occurrence. But he said
many of the players on both sides.
Yeah, when he saw the flakes coming down, and it was coming down quite heavily, he said, "Yeah, his first thought was it's going to be a good day."
Yeah, Rodriguez did get the game winner though, in extra time. Beautiful pass. He took it, and he beat Carducci. It was Cavalry that was up first, by the way. Razor aired with a penalty, and I was wondering, oh God, it's snowing. How's this gonna work? And aired scored, but Rodriguez has been arguably the best player in the CPL this season, so it's only fitting that he gets a brace in the final. I mean, the CPL is a wild league anyway, with bangers of goals, but the icicle kick is, I guess, the greatest goal in CPL history.
And you know what? They've had a lot of great goals in CPL. It seems to be one of those leagues where every weekend there's an absolute banger. I don't know why it pops up. I don't know
It
why
just
the
does.
CPL. It just
Ottawa's a team known for scoring bangers
yeah.
throughout the years.
This is also Atletico Ottawa's first trophy in the CPL, first championship. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations to like Ottawa and everyone involved with the club. The first CPL final not involving Forge, also.
Yeah. I don't think Forge is done.
No, they ain't done.
I mean, they're not going anywhere
They're still a
anytime
great
soon,
team.
but they're still a fantastic team. The only thing that would ever hurt Forge is if Bobby Simeonis gets a job somewhere else.
As it stands, it seems like he has no plans to go anywhere, but you never know.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So yeah, just oh man, like watching this game on TV was something else. But if anyone was at the game, wow. And this also makes you think about the MLS and their proposed change. You know, people are saying, "Hey, if they could do it, why can't we?"
Because can you imagine if they had an MLS game like this? I mean, I tried to remember when they had the MLS Cup final in Toronto that one time against Seattle,
yeah,
and that was a blizzard.
It was snowing, but nowhere near
what this was.
Yeah, but like just seeing the CPL go viral, like BBC, ESPN, like French outlets anywhere, I shall speed seeing it. That's great for the league. We'll put it that way. A league that is still growing. You know, people in Canada still have no idea that it exists.
Still growing as we have next year, which will be FC Supra du Quebec.
Yep. Congratulations to Atletico Ottawa again. That game was great, and of course, the icicle kick will
go down in Canadian
history of the Canadian game and in football.
International break coming up. Canada will be playing 2 matches.
They're playing Ecuador today, actually.
Yeah, Ecuador and Venezuela. You're right, Ecuador today.
Ecuador today in Toronto.
3 call-ups, brand new players that could be coming into the lineup. Alfie Jones, we had talked about. Owen Goodman and Marcelo Flores, who we had talked about potentially coming back. I don't know if it's more of like a viewer capacity, but he is thinking about switching allegiances. He's still within that.
He's still at the camp. He's trained with the camp.
Yeah, he's in that part of his career where he could switch if he chose to.
Yeah. So get some goals. That's the main takeaway. Figure out a way to put the ball in the back of the net, because that last window, the attack was pitiful. Sorry to say, but it was. Jesse Marsh has stated that the main guy as of now to be alongside Jonathan David is Tani Oluwase, mainly because he's doing pretty well for himself with Villarreal. I would assume that I'm no arguments there. I don't think Alfie Jones gets a start. I think they'll go with Cornelius and probably someone like Joel Waterman. But I don't be surprised if he comes off the bench today.
The one thing I'm going to be watching, this is good competition to be playing. But I'm still watching is that goalkeeper. I'm watching the goalkeeper battle and I'm watching the striker battle because I want to see, does Tani Oluwase or Promise David step and take that second spot from Kyle Larin?
Yep.
Everything kind of is moving in that direction right now. And 2, is Dane St. Clair or Maxime Crépeau going to take that goalkeeper position and make it theirs?
Speaking of Crépeau, he is leaving Portland. So that's it. They need to get out of there.
Watch Toronto.
Yeah, that's the team I would assume.
Toronto, especially with Sean Johnson leaving there.
Yeah, Ecuador, I'm just looking at the FIFA rankings right now. They are 23rd. Just 5 spots ahead of Canada. So this is very good competition to play with. You're playing against Moises Caicedo, who I've waxed poetically many times about on this podcast, Piero Hincapié of Arsenal, and of course the former Whitecap, Pedro Vite. Very good team there, Ecuador.
Yeah.
And then Venezuela too. in a few days' time in Fort Lauderdale, of all places. Obviously,
Yeah.
what's going on in Venezuela.
There was talk about this game being moved just because the conflict, we'll call it, between the United States and Venezuela. But apparently, that game being removed was a typographical error. So it is actually in Fort Lauderdale. It is happening. My guess is you're going to have a very pro Venezuelan
Oh yeah,
crowd
given
in that
Miami's
stadium. It makes sense, and it's
population.
not a bad thing for Canada. They need to play in these conditions.
Yeah, and the Ecuador game today. I'll write about this game. I think.
Yep.
They're at home, which they don't get a lot of. Apparently, it's sold out in Toronto, which is nice. So they have the crowd on their side this time, and I would just again push, get those goals, and I want to see progress all around, and put up a good fight against Ecuador and Venezuela, and we want to learn more about what this team can be, who these players are heading into the World Cup, because you're not getting another window until March. So this is again another big window.
Absolutely.
Crunch time. Yeah. So
right.
Let's move over to Europe. I'm not going to talk about this first game too much regarding Chelsea Karabag in Baku. It goes to show that even teams from that area of the world can get big results in the Champions League. That team from Kazakhstan.
Karabag has done it before, though. Like, they get these wins that nobody expected of them. They definitely punch above their weight.
Yeah, they've done not just in Champions League, they've done it in Europa League as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That team from Kazakhstan also beat a big team not too long ago in Champions League, or they drew. I can't remember.
I have to look up who.
I gotta look that up later. So 2-2 draw against Karabag. I think Chelsea took them too lightly. Nice that Esteval scored and Garnacho scored, but terrible defending. Poor penalty given away for the second goal. Just the result you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And then they played another smallish opponent last weekend. Wolves from Stamford Bridge, who still have yet to win a game. This time it wasn't close. Though that first half was pretty slow. Just not clinical enough. The lap did not look match fit at all. Neto and Garnacho not attacking. Pedro poor. And then everything changed in the second half. I don't know what Maresca said, but it worked. Of all people, Malagusto got the first goal. That's his first Chelsea goal, and it took him 165 games. Remember, he joined like 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
I mean, this guy's not known for goals anyway, but still, that is crazy. Though he did have a few chances over the years. But this one was just a simple header from Garnacho's cross. And easy goal. And yeah, Reece James even joked about it on Instagram, like, finally. I think same with Wesley Fofana, like, finally. What took you so long? And then Esteval comes off the bench, instant impact. 2 minutes later, great cut, finds Joao Pedro, and gets the assist. See, this kid continues to grow. His adaptation to England has gone pretty well so far. We knew it would take time, but I think it's taken quicker than many of us had anticipated. And for the love of God, next game he needs to start. Because he's proved he can start. And he's proven he can make an instant impact. It just needs to get better and better, this kid. He's a generational talent for a reason. Then the third goal, Garnacho. He's been in good form lately. Blazes down the wing, like super fast. And then finds Pedro Neto for the tap-in, who scores against his old team. Garnacho has 4 goal contributions in his last 4 games. Wonder, has he arrived? I know I was critical against the signing, but has he finally arrived? Man United fans weren't too happy seeing Garnacho put up some goal contributions. Let's not forget he's 21.
Yeah, that's actually really young.
Which is hard to believe. You'd think he's 25, 26.
Yeah.
But given the way Man United fans treated him, though some of it was justified, they act like he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
So it seems like Garnacho's attitude has changed because he hasn't shown that, like brattiness so far at Man United. He's been more humble with the media, and yeah, he's done the job lately. Hope this continues. And for Esteval too, we should also mention that when he had the ball before Joao Pedro's assist, the Stamford Bridge crowd stood up. There was like gasps. We haven't seen that from a player since Aiden Hazard. So those show he's a special talent. Cole Palmer. The target for him to return is the Champions League game against Barcelona in a few weeks, and he should be back.
Cole Palmer has now copywritten the Cold Palmer phrase,
yeah, that was a few
and
weeks ago.
also his celebration.
Yeah, though everyone's doing it around the world. Even K-pop idols are doing it. I saw.
Oh, jeez.
I guess that goes to show his influence.
I find
Thiago Silva even posted a picture of him doing it.
When people tried to copyright a movement.
If he knows what a copyright is.
Yeah.
He even responded to a fan on Instagram that said, "We'll miss you," and he said, "I miss you guys too." Let's Chelsea are in third, by the way, which is hard to believe. They were in second for a little bit. And apparently they were among the highest scoring teams in the league. And that's without Cole Palmer.
Probably have
and despite the gaffes, one of the better defensive teams in the league too. And that's without Levi Colwell, who's out till the spring. So I think things are more or less going okay. They could be better, but Chelsea have done good without Cole Palmer. But man, they need him to break down those low blocks. So Barcelona, that's target return. Palmer versus Yamal, potentially. That should be fun. Apparently Mike Maignan, apparently that's back on. According to an Italian news source, Gazzetta dello Sport, I don't know how reliable they are, but take your word for it, reports that they could sign Maignan on a pre-contract in January, so he joins in the summer. So they just want him for free. No wonder why they didn't spend the 25 million last summer. They could have had him.
Well, that's what we've always known about Bully. He's really cheap, isn't he?
Yeah, plus he had a year left on his contract, and it's kind of fallen off a little with AC Milan, but you can get a goalkeeper like that for free. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, Robert Sanchez has been better recently, but still. Oh man, one last thing around Chelsea. Kind of sad here. Oscar. He's now with Sao Paulo. He collapsed after, riding on the exercise bike at the training facility. Apparently he has a heart condition. He's in hospital. And this could mean he could be forced to retire.
I did see that. How old is he now?
34, I think. Let me look that up.
34. He's one of those guys that perennially looks like he's like
20.
I was going to say mid-teens, but
yeah, even that.
Right?
Yeah, he's 34.
I mean, you got to think that he was probably the smartest player to ever move to China, because when he moved to China, he got that contract and then he just lived it out, right?
Yeah, cardiac complications. Yeah, Daily Mail is reporting that it seems retirement is imminent.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's sad.
At that stage of his career, I mean, it sucks to be out that way, but you know what? He had a full career. Take care of himself.
I think that's the best. Hope it isn't as serious as it seems, but if he does retire, he did well at Chelsea for the most part. Wish it was a bit longer. Maybe it was a bit inconsistent at times, but he was all right. He was good. And went off to China, now in Brazil. I guess there's always a life after football.
Yeah.
So Tottenham, crazy final 10 minutes in stoppage time, a 2-2 draw against Manchester United.
Yeah, not going to talk too much about this game either, but yeah, it was a 1-0 Man United game heading into the final 10 minutes. Matis Tell tied the game up in the 84th minute. Richarlison put Tottenham ahead in the 91st. Yeah, and then Delict with a nice, I mean, you got to admit, it was a pretty nice goal. Last gasp effort in the 96th at the very, very end of stoppage time for the draw. These kind of stutter starts of Tottenham, getting a little bit forward, 2 steps back. They've only won 2 of their last 5. It kind of weirdly enough, it has Thomas Frank on a bit of a hot seat. The betting odds, I think, for him to be the next manager sacked, I think he's in like the top 3 in the league. I think it's really harsh. Tottenham's sitting.
Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh
right now. They're sitting.
Given how tight the table is, also. You
also got to think like what is the natural position of Tottenham, and you would probably say 4th, 5th. It's 5th fighting for 4th. Now, obviously, Sunderland is in 4th. Tottenham should be ahead of Sunderland, but they're only a point behind that.
Sunderland's doing well this year.
Sunderland's doing very well this year. Bournemouth has fallen off a little bit, but you're starting to see that Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. That's usually what your top 3 looks like anyway. Tottenham's fighting for those next spots with all the others. I think it's a little bit early to do this. They got to give Frank more time. Also, you got to think of, and I was thinking about this, is Frank has been doing this without his 2 main creative players at all in Dejan Kulusevski and James Maddison.
Yep.
Right? Yes, they brought in other players. Kudus has been phenomenal. It seems like Xavi Simons is finding his footing. He's getting there. I still want to see more from Muani, but I mean, he was injured for so long. He only really had his first full game, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? So I think there's still more to come. We'll just have to wait and see. That being said, with what is to come, Mickey Van de Ven, what a revelation this guy has been this season so far. I think he's actually Tottenham's top goal scorer, which is hilarious.
Which is crazy.
He didn't have a goal last year. He's a center back, right?
Right.
To dissuade the likes of Liverpool and Real Madrid that are starting to stiff around Whitecaps, Tottenham has put about, I think, €100 million price tag on him to try and just stop any bids. And they're now actually talking to the player about an improved contract to try to keep him to stay. When this guy came, he came for €50 million, signed a 6-year deal in 2023. So that means he still has 4 years left on his
contract. Yeah, he has until 2029.
But they are looking at increasing it. You also got to remember, Van de Ven's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
Only 24 years old.
I thought he was like 27.
Honestly, you feel like this is a guy who is at his peak. This is a guy still growing into his game, which is insane.
I think 24 is like entering the prime area.
It is, right? You're kind of hitting, like, when you hit that 26 to 28.
Yeah, I think 25 is like the prime fully.
Yeah, he's getting there. Other than that, Arsenal next. North London Derby.
Yeah, it's not until the 23rd, though.
Yeah.
Given the international break. So, the Premier League table is tight. Like, 3 points for separate 2nd and like 8th or something. Let me just, 2nd and 5 points.
Yeah. Oh, that team from Kazakhstan that you were trying to remember the name, FC Kiryat Almaty.
Yeah. And speaking of England, Sheffield Wednesday, that situation. 10 parties have shown proof of funds for ownership.
Yeah, so this is quite a lot, especially when you thought of how many people were trying to buy the club from the owner when he actually had control over it. There is a deadline set for I think when kind of a negotiation period that'll end on the 5th of December, and then at that point they have to figure out what's going on with them. Wednesday right now they're on a 12-point deduction simply for entering administration. So I think they're actually at negative points in the table. If we look them up, let's just see here. Sheffield, they're sitting at negative 4 points. Out of 15 games, they only have 1 win. So the faster they can get this done, find an owner that is legitimate, and not only that, but start paying their players, their staff, all these people that are basically just doing the job for free right now.
Yeah,
needs to get done.
Just get this done. Like, this is a historic club. Someone needs to steer that ship, and hopefully they find the right owner. Back to the Premier League. Liverpool. They lose again. This time to Man City, and this is the first time in 44 games they have not scored a goal, which is absolutely insane. Though they did score a goal, VR wiped it out. I don't know if about that one, but whatever. Doku pretty much caved Liverpool's defense apart. Man City with the 3-0 win. Liverpool, another loss. Just things aren't clicking. Like the attack, not clicking. Doesn't help they're not shooting. And I just saw something. Liverpool's guys they bought for 365 million euros, 7 goals combined. Luis Diaz sold for 75 million euros, 11 goals.
Yeah.
I don't know. Luis Diaz is doing well at Bayern Munich. Meanwhile, Isak, Verts, and Itakike are still settling in and trying to adjust the slot system.
I feel like they'll turn it around, but they're not going to win the title this year. They've taken themselves out of that at this point. What are they?
Yeah, they need to go on an insane run.
Yeah, but Liverpool right now is basically looking to fight back into a Champions League spot. That's where they are right now.
Yeah, I guess money doesn't really solve things. You can say, oh, they don't give the ball to Isak or Verts that much, but when they do have the ball, they aren't.
They made so many changes. They spent so much money. You got to wonder if it was just too much too soon.
That's what I was thinking as well. And by the way, just looking at this now, Frimpong, on under one of their biggest signings, only managed to play 84 minutes.
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of guys that you bought. It just need chemistry.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Sure, there's an international break. Maybe that'll help them reset. But time has doubled.
Last thing before we go, this is something that we talked about before. Wilfred Nancy, currently with Columbus Crew as their head coach, looks like he has spent his last day in MLS, at least for the foreseeable future. Links between him and a number of teams in Europe have been progressing over the past while. There's been a couple of League 1 clubs that had looked at him. But the big news right now is Celtic out of Scotland. This was a club that he has been attached to for a while. Obviously, we were going to be waiting to see whether Columbus moved further in the playoffs. They are now out. Being defeated by Cincinnati. Wilfred Nancy has now moved ahead of Ange Postecoglou as the front runner for the job. So much to the point that betting houses are stopping accepting bets on him being awarded the job.
Yeah, and Nancy actually spoke today. He was asked about it. He said he's not here to talk about himself. Doesn't have anything to say about that kind of reports. He didn't deny it.
Yeah, which I think is telling. Two minds. One, this is a great coach who did great things, not only with Columbus, but with two MLS clubs, but also with FC Montreal when he was back there as well.
Yep.
MLS is a parity league, and that's what he was able to do. You move him to Celtic, where they're basically one of 2 giants in Scotland, he'd run riot. Like, he would absolutely run riot.
Yeah.
The point against him is he plays much differently than what Celtic is accustomed to. They want full tilt, full attack, balls to the wall, Ange Postecoglou style. Ange Postecoglou fits Celtic to an absolute T.
Yep.
The more structured, more disciplined, still attack, but
more disciplined,
but a better built overall team that Wilfred Nancy would bring. Is that
a slower build up?
Is that something that Celtic fans would attach to? Now, my hope is that they would give him enough time, because I think he would right the ship in the league. My hope is that by him doing that, it would benefit them in Europe.
Yeah.
Would they give him the time to do that, or would they look at him and say, I don't care that you're winning, you're not one of us?
We'll see how he handles going from a league of parity to a league of 2 teams, essentially. If he goes to Celtic, of course.
Right now, the other 2 names that are on the list right now are Ipswich Town's Kieran McKenna, a name that we've heard for a while, and another one that's popped up that's kind of interesting. Tottenham knows this guy because they've faced this team twice in the last 2 years in international football. Bodo Glimt's Kjetil Knutsen out of Norway. So those are the other two names that are up there right now. Yep. I think Postecoglou has kind of taken himself out of the picture because I think he wants Premier League or something bigger.
Yeah. After his failed Nottingham Forest, then maybe just take some time off.
Well, I honestly don't know who can take over Forest.
Yeah, well, they're a different issue.
They've got their own problems.
One last thing here before we go. This is regarding MLS.
Yes, absolutely.
MLS, reported by Paul Tenery of The Athletic, will come out behind a separate MLS Season Pass subscription beginning next year. So that means all games will be available on the Apple TV streaming services. Thank you, because I don't know why if you own Apple TV, you need another separate MLS Season Pass. This will actually be on Apple TV itself.
Yes. So it means that it's not behind a paywall, which is behind a paywall, which is really nice.
I don't know why this wasn't a thing in the first place, but I guess money, sure. But
yeah, I don't know. The fact that it's still you need Apple in general is a limitation to a lot of sports fans. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I am happy that Apple has made the playoffs free. All you got to do is just create a login and you can go watch them. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, apparently with Apple. TSN, I think this is an MLS decision, not TSN. TSN will be showing the Philadelphia New York game instead of the Whitecaps LAFC.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So that's a bummer. So yeah, starting next season, you get MLS Season Pass and all of Apple TV's movies and TV shows. So if you like Ted Lasso or any other shows, that's the both worlds. This time it makes it worth paying for. All right, so that'll conclude this week's episode. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter at Joshua00, Nathan and Dirk, podcast at Terminal City FC. We're on Blue Sky as well, same as the podcast. Check out the Terminal City FC YouTube and Instagram pages, and all our writing for Area 51 Sports Network. And check out all the other coverage regarding the NHL, WHL, PWHL, which is starting up thanks to the Vancouver Golden Eyes. And of course, Vancouver Rise as well. We're going to cover that and some NFL coverage as well. So, yeah, again, thanks for tuning in. And again, if you're local business or if you know someone in the local business, contact us at Terminal City FC Podcast gmail.com for potential sponsorship. We'd love to hear from you. That concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.